Hey there, nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and we are back with another episode of Way of the Underhive. This series is dedicated to brand new players for Necromunda, and for all those of you wishing to start a brand new gang for a new campaign, this is the series for you. In this series, we'll talk about each of the gangs that are offered in the current set of Necromunda. We'll talk about their strengths and weaknesses. We'll talk about individual fighters and what you primarily use them for within your gang, as well as 3 recommended starting lists that you can use in your very first campaign in Necromunda. So today we're going to talk about House Orlock, which is one of the core houses for the starting game. As you can see, we'll be talking about this gang, and let's go ahead and get this video going. So first of all, let's go and talk about his strengths for the House Orlocks. When it comes to House Orlock, they're pretty much a jack of all trades gang. Pretty much you name it and they can pretty much do it, and they have solid stats all around. They have excellent access to equipment. Their leaders and champions are excellent in terms of both weapon skill as well as ballistic skill. And another cool thing about these guys, you have access to wreckers, which are jump pack wearing fighters, which just pretty much sums up everything you need to know about House Orlock. The great thing about them is if you're brand new to playing Necromunda and you're not sure what gang you should be playing, try playing these guys out because they can do a variety of different things, and it's a good way for you to learn how the game works, and they got pretty good stats to help you out to win victories. So let's go and talk about the weaknesses for House Orlock. Now, like we said before, one of the strengths about House Orlock is that it's a jack of all trades gang, which at the same time is also kind of a weakness, and here's why. A lot of the different gangs in Necromunda are very specific of what they can do. For example, Vansar gangs are very good at shooting, while House Goliath is really good at close combat and also surviving a lot of injuries that you have. House Orlock doesn't really have a super large strength for the most part, just because their stats are pretty mediocre for most of their fighters. They're pretty solid, so they can do either pretty well, but they don't really excel in one specific thing, which is actually kind of a good thing because that way you can, equip your gang to meet up the different challenges they'll run into accordingly as well. Another problem that they also have is that in terms of price, leaders, champions, as well as wreckers for House Orlock do cost a lot of points, and the equipment and weapons that they take also cost a lot of points as well. And that's for a reason. That's because the equipment these guys carry is actually one of the best sets of equipment that you can get for any gang in Necromunda. So that's a nice thing about them. You can actually use those things to customize your gang. But the problem though is, like I said, it can get kind of pricey in terms of points value. So now that we're done talking about the strengths and weaknesses of House Orlock, let's go ahead and talk about the individual fighters. Alright, first of all, let's talk about the Road Captain, which is the leader for House Orlock gang. This character costs 105 credits, and let's talk about their stats real quick. So they have movement 5, so they're pretty quick. They have weapon skill and blitz skill 3+, 3 strength, 3 toughness. They have 3 wounds, 4+ for initiative, 2 attacks, +4 for leadership, +5 for cool, +5 for willpower, as well as +5 for intelligence. And at the same time, this is actually, in my opinion, the best leader in actually the entirety of the game. I know I sound kind of biased for saying that because currently right now I'm playing a House Orlock gang for my current Anarchy Road campaign, but this is actually quite true. And the reason why is because this leader by far has some of the best stats. They got 3 up for weapon skill as well as ballistic skill. They have excellent access to skills that they can use as well for their character development. For example, they have ferocity, leadership, savant as their main primary, so mix and have really excellent adaptations for skills that they can use later on. At the same time, these characters also have 3 wounds apiece, which is really nice as well. So this is the most resilient of the leaders that you actually had. And the nice thing about this guy is because of his stats, he can actually be built any way you want. If you want a long range shooting, heavy weapon toting captain, you can do that. If you want a close combat road captains leading up forces up in the front and fighting guys in single combat, you can do that. If you want to create a captain that can do a little bit of shooting, a little bit of fighting, and still lead his troops, you could do that as well. So the road captain is actually very versatile, and their skill set can be created to play any kind of gaming system that you'd like with your gang. Now let's talk about your guys' champions real quick. You have 2 different sets of champions in this gang. The first one are your road sergeants. These guys cost 80 credits apiece. They have movement 5, weapon skill of 4, blitz skill of 3. They have 3 strength, 3 toughness, 2 wounds, as well as 4+ for their initiative as well. At the same time, they have 2 attacks, 5+ for leadership, 6+ for cool, 6+ for willpower, as well as 6+ for intelligence as well. So let's go ahead and talk about your guys' road sergeants real quick. So your road sergeants are really designed to be your heavy weapons and special weapons members of your gang. They have a 3-up ballista skill, which is really, really good. So you want to give these guys your heavy guns, things like stubbers, plasma guns, flamers, that kind of thing as well. And at the same time, they're pretty decent in combat, and they're really useful for your group activation. So if you want to do some long-range shooting, just partner up some long-range shooting gunners, which are basically your gangers in this gang list, and pair up your road sergeants. You can rain some long-distance hell upon your enemies, and do really good things. At the same time, when it comes to your guys' skill sets for these guys, their skill sets are pretty good. They pretty much have 2 primary skills, which is ferocity and bravado. Now, bravado is decent. There's some interesting builds you can do with the bravado skill. However, you probably want to use that for your arms masters, which we're going to be talking about here in a second. So when it comes to your guys' skills for your road sergeants, probably the best one to focus on is ferocity, which is really going to help your guys to survive as well as get things done in the battle. Now, the second type of champion you can have in your gang is what's called an Arms Master. This person costs 95 credits. They have movement 5. They have a 3-up weapon skill, 3 ballista skill, 3 strength and toughness, 2 wounds, 4+ for their initiative. They have 2 attacks base. They also got 5+ for leadership, 6+ for cool, 6+ for willpower, as well as 6+ for intelligence as well. So let's go and talk about these guys real quick. Your Arms Masters are going to be more your close combat type of champions. With a 3+ of weapon skills, it's excellent to equip these guys with close combat weapons. At the same time, give them some cyber mastiffs in order to do some support as well. They can group activate with their cyber mastiffs and actually do a lot of good things with that as well. On the other hand, though, you could also make this guy a shooting character. You could actually equip this character with a shotgun and then use the bravado skill in order to boost this up. There's actually a bravado skill called Shotgun Savant, which means that their short range bonuses apply for long range shooting as well, which can be really good and powerful combination with these guys as well. Now, regardless of how you build this character, the thing you want to do is you want to make sure that your Arms Master stays near with most of your fighters. And the reason why is because they have a special rule attached to these guys called Rule of Iron, which makes them incredibly useful for your fighters. Now, the Rule of Iron basically states that what you basically do is that whenever this fighter is activated, you choose visible friendly Orlock fighters within 6 inches of this character. You pick that one fighter, and it's at the end of that round that fighter gains a Nerves of Steel skill, which if they don't already have it already, which is really awesome. Now, on top of that as well, whenever you're playing in a game, you also can subtract 2 from any bottle test that your gang has to make, so long as you've got a Arms Master on the battlefield. So if you're worried about losing bottle tests, or if you're really worried about your fighters like running away and things like that, an Arms Master is absolutely fantastic to use in order to keep that discipline and to keep your gang members in the fight. Alright, so let's talk about your gangers real quick. These guys are called Gunners. They cost 45 credits apiece. They have pretty good stats as well. They have 5-inch movement, 4+ for weapon skill as well as ballista skill, 3 for strength and toughness, 1 wound, 4 up for initiative. They have 1 attack, 6 leadership, 7 cool, 7 willpower, as well as 7 intelligence. So let's go ahead and talk about your Gunners real quick. Your Gunners are very solid. They can do both combat and shooting equally well, and you can also equip them to match your personal play style as well. So that's the thing when it comes to these Gunners. Like I said before, this gang is very much a jack of all trades. So if you want to dedicate half of your Gunners to be close combat and half your Gunners to be long range shooting, they can do those jobs equally well. And as they level up throughout the campaign, you can see exactly how you want to use your fighters later on. Now, there's an important note. You can, of course, have one of your Gunners be promoted to a Specialist. Now, the thing about that is that the Orlock gang is the only gang in the current rule set right now whose gangers can equip heavy weapons if they become Specialists. So, for example, you can put a harpoon launcher on these guys. You can put heavy bolters, flamers, stubbers on these guys. It's really, really awesome. Not to mention their special weapons are also really good as well. They got flamers, they also got grenade launchers, plasma guns, as well as melta guns. So you can equip these guys however you want to, especially make them into Specialists, which is really, really awesome. And up next we have what are known as the Wreckers. These are your prospects. These guys cost 55 credits apiece. They have a movement characteristic of 6, a 5 of weapon skill, a 4 of ballista skill. They have 3 strength, 3 toughness, 1 wound, 3 initiative. They also have 1 attack. They got 9 leadership, 8 cool, 8 willpower, as well as 8 intelligence. So let's talk about the Wrecker real quick. Okay, the Wreckers are really good. They're very pricey. But at the same time, though, they can level up like Juvies can, and because of that, they have 4 up on their ballista skill, which makes them really good in that sense as well. Now you might be wondering, well, Commander Cheapskate, what about their 5 of weapon skill? That's not a problem, because if they use their jump boosters and they charge their attackers with their jump packs, they get +1 to hit, so it pretty much makes a weapon skill 4 at the most part. And to make things even better, they get +1 on their charge for their strength category when they're doing their attacks, because they represent the fact they got a lot of velocity and momentum going from rocketing in with those jump boosters. Not to mention, those jump boosters also add D3 to your ganger's movement in terms of vertical distances as well as horizontal distances. These guys can move up to 9 inches. And of course, if you get a hanger-on like a mechanic hanger-on for your guys' gang, these guys can actually travel up to 12 inches at a time. So these guys are really good as well. Now here's the thing that's kind of interesting about this. Rules as written pretty much states that Wreckers can't be promoted to road sergeants or arms masters, but nowhere in the rules does it say that the jump booster isn't used by them, if that makes sense. So like, for example, if your Wrecker gets promoted to a road sergeant, do they or do they not have their jump pack still? Same thing with Arms Master. If you make an Arms Master, do they or do they not have their jump pack right now? The rules are kind of gray area on this one. So if you decided that, yes, you can keep your jump boosters, that means you have Road Sergeant and Arm Masters that can rocket around on jetpacks, which is absolutely fantastic. And of course, if you don't agree with that rule, then oh well. But anyways, can you imagine an Arms Master with an Arc Hammer with a jump booster just rocking around, jumping around, and smashing guys in the head? It'd be absolutely fantastic to have that build. Alright, so the very last guy we're going to talk about are your Greenhorns, which are your Juvies for your gang. These guys cost 35 credits apiece. They have 6-inch movement, 5+ weapon skill and ballista skill, 3 strength and 3 toughness. They have 1 wound, 3 initiative, 1 attack. They have 7 leadership, 8 cool, 8 willpower, as well as 8 intelligence. So let's go ahead and talk about the skills and the equipments for these guys, how best to use them. Now, your Greenhorns, unfortunately, your Juvies are pretty much the same no matter what gang you play. These guys are human shields, basically, alright? You send them out to absorb the shots and the attention of your enemies, so that way your more valuable fighters are not being shot at. They're good for scouts, they're used good as melee screens, they're expendable at the same time, dependable at the same time. My suggestion to you is equipment to the bare bones. If they do manage to survive and manage to level up to be useful, then of course buy more expensive equipment for them later on. But for the most part, though, these guys are kind of designed to die, unfortunately. And that's pretty much what you use them for. You use these fighters to be taking the hits that you don't want your more valuable fighters to take. And that's pretty much how it works for the Juvie. So now that we got our Greenhorns out of the way, as well as all of our fighters, let's go ahead and talk about the different gang lists you can make. Alright, first up is what I like to call the Cheapskate Build, and the reason why I call this a Cheapskate Build is because all you need is 1 box of Orlock Gangers, and this is going to cost you 1,000 credits, which is perfect for your very first campaign. This is the cheapest of the builds in terms of money for you, the player, to buy. All you need is the 1 box set, and that's everything you need, and you can actually play these guys throughout your entire campaign. In the end, this is a good all-around general build. They can fight at long, medium, or in close range. They're equally prepared to do all 3 of those, and is actually a very good starter gang to start off with if you're brand new to Necromunda as well. At the same time, this gang also has 2 fire teams. You have a support element as well as an assault element. Your support element consists of Road Sergeant number 1, Road Sergeant number 2, Gunner number 3, as well as Gunner number 4, where your assault element basically consists of your Road Captain, Gunner number 1, Gunner number 2, as well as your Greenhorn. So let's talk about exactly how these guys are equipped. Your Road Captain is going to cost you 160 credits. He's going to have a stub gun with dum-dum rounds as well as a servo claw. He's got mesh armor as well as commanding presence, and he's also taken the Blade Breaker big name, which is also going to help him out as well. So basically it gives him additional protection from close combat. This guy will be leading up in the front, leading your fighters and your assault elements going forward. They got a servo claw for really good, powerful close combat attacks. They got some decent shooting with the stub gun, with dum-dum rounds. Really good kit out for this guy. At the same time, you also have Road Sergeant number 1. He's going to cost you 205 points. This guy's going to be packing a harpoon launcher. He's also got mesh armor as well. He's got the Nerve of Steel skill as well as Bullet Dodger. Bullet Dodger gives him a little bit more reliability surviving from being shot at. And at the same time, if he does manage to get hit but not wounded, he can actually pass a cool test and escape with his Nerve of Steel ability. Now, Road Sergeant number 2 is going to cost you 225 credits. This guy has a heavy stubber. He's also got mesh armor, nerves of steel, as well as bullet dodger. So that way you can also dodge it being shot at. He also has the nerves of steel for him to pass his cool test in case he gets pinned. And he's also packing heavy stubber, which is really, really deadly. Now for your gunners, you have actually 4 gangers in this list. Gunner number 1, gunner number 2 are going to be equipped exactly the same. Both these guys cost 110 credits. Both of them are packing combat shotguns and flak armors. These are your guys' close range, close quarters combat guys. They can use their shredder and salvo rounds to just decimate their opponents in close, medium to close range. Now you also got 2 other gangers as well, gunner number 3 and gunner number 4. Both these guys cost 70 credits apiece. They're both equipped with auto guns as well as flak armor. These guys are more your long distance, medium range shooting. They got reliable auto guns that they can use for rapid fire as well, and they can also be really good in the assault if you need to use them for a pinch. And then lastly, of course, you have your Greenhorn. This character costs 50 credits. This person has a stub gun as well as an auto pistol, so that way they can shoot pretty good and at the same time fight pretty well in close combat. Alright, the second list is what I like to call the standard build, and the reason why I call this a standard build is because this is what most new players are going to do for their gang. They're going to buy 1 box set of Orlock gangers as well as a box set with the Orlock Arms Master Wreckers as well as Cybermastiffs. And that's going to cost you another 1,000 credits. You'll be using all of them to create this gang for your very first campaign. Now this is a list that is designed for medium to close range combat for the most part. So this is going to be a little bit closer in terms of their fighting distance as well. However, this will also give you access to all of House Orlock's fighters. Pretty much all the major fighters represented in this gang list, which is nice. It's a very diverse gang list, allowing for some very diverse gameplay, and it's also more of an aggressive build than the previous one that we had. Now, this gang consists of 3 fire teams. You have 1 support element as well as 2 assault elements. Your support element will be consisting of your Road Sergeant as well as Gunner number 1 as well as Gunner number 3. Assault element number 1 is going to have your Road Captain with your Arms Master as well as Gunner number 2 as well as Gunner number 4, and then assault element number 2 is going to be 2 of your Wreckers. You have Wrecker number 1 as well as Wrecker number 2. So let's go and talk about exactly what this list is made of. So for your Road Captain, it costs you 170 credits for this character. He's got mesh armor as well as a power pick for close combat. He's also got the commanding presence as well as a blade breaker rule as well as a stub gun, so that way you can do some long range shooting. So still getting large group activation, still pretty good in close combat. At the same time, he's got good close combat and shooting abilities for him as well. After that, of course, you have your Arms Master. This character would cost you 170 credits. This guy has mesh armor. He's also got a combat shotgun as well. He's going to give him the shotgun savant skill so that we can use that at long range. And you're going to give him the Bullet Lord ability, which basically allows him to re-roll field ammo saves for the most part. Then you also got your Road Sergeant, who's another champion, costs you 155 credits. This guy will have mesh armor. He's also going to be packing a bolt gun, a stub gun for a backup weapon. He's also got nerves of steel as well as the Bullet Lord ability for him as well. So that way you can do some shooting with that bolt gun and not have to worry about the ammo running out too on it. And if he does get shot at, he can actually pass his pinning test by passing a cool test for nerves of steel. Now, Gunner number 1 is going to cost 125 credits. This character is going to be a specialist. You're going to equip him with mesh armor as well as a grenade launcher. Now, Gunner number 2 and Gunner number 3, they're going to be equipped exactly the same. They both have mesh armor. One has a shotgun, one has an auto gun, and then Gunner number 4 is going to cost 85 credits. He's got mesh armor as well as a flail as well as a stub gun. So Gunner number 4 is more of a close combat oriented guy. And then lastly, you got your 2 Wreckers. They're going to cost you 65 points apiece. Both of them are equipped exactly the same with twin stub guns apiece. And that pretty much makes it what I like to call the standard build. And lastly, this is the one I like to call the Major Moneybags build, and the reason why I call it the Major Moneybags build is because this will be the most expensive one for players to put together, because you're buying a box set of Orlock Gangers, you're also buying a box set of the Orlock Arms Masters and Wreckers, and at the same time you're buying a box set of Weapons Upgrade Pack from Forge World. Now this gang will cost you 1,000 credits to put together, so you'll be using all of your starting credits as well. This one has a very aggressive build for it. And like I said before, this gang is also perfect for medium to close range combat as well. And at the same time, you're going to be generating a lot of credits for this gang after every single battle. So this one's going to kind of help you out with that as well. Now, just like in the previous list, this one consists of 3 assault elements. You have 1 support element and 2 assault elements. Support element number 1 consists of your road captain as well as one of your road sergeants. Assault element number 1 is going to have your arms master as well as gunner number 1 and gunner number 2. And assault element number 3 is going to consist of 2 wreckers. So let's go and talk about exactly what these guys will be packing. Now, for your road captain, he's going to cost you 190 credits. This character's got the grenade launcher. He's got a stub gun for a backup weapon. He's got mesh armor. He's got fixers, so that way you can earn D3 times 10 credits for every round. And he also has 2 pretty for Primus big name, which means he also generates further credits for your gang as at the end of every scenario as well. So this guy's money-making machine is what he's basically using for. And he's got a pretty good grenade launcher that you can use to wipe the floor with fools. Now your road sergeant is going to cost you 200 credits. This guy's going to be packing a plasma gun. He's also got a stub gun for backup. He's got mesh armor. He's got nervous steel as well as bullet dodger. So that way if he does get shot at because of that plasma gun, he can dodge the shots and at the same time have a little bit of survivability of escaping pins. Now, for your Arms Master, this guy's going to cost you 210 credits. This guy's going to be packing Arc Hammer, which is a very powerful close combat weapon. He's got a stub gun for some short to medium range shooting. He's got mesh armor as well as an armored undersuit, giving this guy a 4 armor save. He's also got the Nerves of Steel ability, so that way if he gets shot at, he can escape it pinning by passing his cool test. And he's got the Blade Breaker ability as well to give a little more survivability in close combat. Now your 2 gunners in this gang are going to be equipped exactly the same. Gunner number 1 and gunner 2 both cost you 115 credits apiece. They got combat shotguns as well as mesh armor. And then lastly, you got 2 wreckers. They're equipped exactly the same way as well. You got wrecker number 1 and wrecker number 2. Both these guys are packing stub guns with dum-dum rounds for both of those pistols, and they're also got flak armor as well. So these guys can shoot, they can fight with strength 4 weapons in close combat, they can pretty much do it all. And this is what I like to call the Major Moneybags list. So there you guys have it. This is my overview of the House Orlock gang, especially if you're starting your very first campaign of Necromunda as well. This is a very excellent gang with versatile abilities, versatile weapons, and they're also very effective as well. They got powerful weapons, they got excellent gear, and they got fantastic skill sets later on. And not to mention, these guys look like guys that like walked up the set off of Mad Max, and they have jump pack wearing fighters. I mean, and cybernetic dogs and exoskeletons. I mean, just look how cool they look, man. They look freaking awesome. So that's all I need to say about that. These guys are really, really cool. So there you have it, you guys. That's my overview of House Orlock. That's good to do for this one. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is valuable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for the latest and greatest news relating the hobby aspect on this channel. That's good to do for this one, you guys. We'll catch you guys next one. Peace out and stay classy.